Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Thursday. It's November 10th. I had to think about it for a minute. It feels like Wednesday, but today's Thursday. So this will be our last chart lesson for the week. No chart lesson tomorrow. Uh, just real quickly to remind people, a lot of people ask me about why I don't do one on Fridays and will I at least post my chart or do something. But the whole idea behind me not doing them on Fridays is that I try to get out of here early. Um, I've been staring at this screen for 15 years all day long, and I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to get a little burnout looking at doing this every day, all day long. So, my purpose with not doing them on Fridays is just to give myself a break and to get away and just hopefully where I don't get burnt out on this stuff. So, the whole reason I got into trading a few years back was because I was employed in corporate America and I worked for somebody else and I was on the road all the time. I was working 70 hours a week and um, I wanted to do something where I could be home before my kids grew up and without me being home. So that's how I got into trading originally. Even back then, I used to, follow stocks and things like that and trade some stocks and trade some options and those kind of things. So I've been doing this probably for 25 years, but I really started trying to day trade about 15 years ago, I would say. So, but again, that's the reason I'm not doing them on Fridays is just to try to get myself a break. And another thing I've been doing is on the weekends, I'm not answering a lot of emails. If it's not a critical email or an easy question that I can glance at and answer real quick, I'm probably not answering it till Monday. And so if it feels like I'm a little bit slower with those kind of emails, that's why I'm just trying to, I really just need a break and I don't want to quit doing this, but I need to scale back just a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little bit. So that's the reason I'm taking off on Fridays. And that's also the reason, I may be a little bit slower on weekends. You may not hear me reply, so I'm trying to stay away from it. So uh, I just don't want to get burnt out on it. So again, when you sit here and look at charts all day long, uh, for 15 years, it starts to get a little bit, it gets to be boring. And that's a good clue that when you're probably almost there as far as your own trading, when it starts to get boring, that's when you're close to making it. Because if you're still getting excited about trading and you get highs off the wins and you get low off your losses and you're still too emotional about it, this should be a job. I mean, this is a job for me and it should feel like a job. You come in, you do your trading and you close up and you go home and once you're done, you want to be away from it as much as you can. You only want to do it when you need to make money. And so when you get to that point, you'll know you're probably getting real close. For if you're still getting real excited about different things, then you're probably not there yet. So just something to think about. But anyway, that's why I'm not answering as many emails over the weekend, and it's also why you don't hear much from me from Friday afternoon till Monday. So again, if there's an emergency or something somebody needs, I'm always, I do check in and check my mail just to make sure there's no emergencies. But if I'm a little slow answering your questions or looking at your chart or something that you're asking me about, that's the reason. So hopefully everybody understands, and I appreciate your support on that. So, but anyway, let's talk about the trades today. The chart. It's really a range day. Here's your overnight highs. Here's your overnight lows. We did break below that, but we found support around 2148, and we rallied off that. And we closed up for the day, but we closed about the middle of the range. So later you probably would have moved this down here, like so. Um, but yeah, it's just a range day. It's a big range. Uh, if you look, it's 48 to a little more than 78. I mean, a 30-point range is plenty. I mean, there's a lot of trading to do on the way down here and a lot of trading to do on the way back up. But let's back out. We'll go through the trades and we'll call it a week. It's been a really good week. There's been a lot of movement. It's been easy to catch runners the last few days. You only got to catch one or two. But it was mostly down until around 10 o'clock, and then it was really uphill after that. So not real steep. It's really steeper than that. As you can see, I just need to get my chart right there. But anyway, let's talk about the trades. Let me back out a little more. So much price action, it's hard to see it. You know, you can't get it all on the screen. It takes, you got to really scroll across your screen. But when I came in, we were working down. And this was a little bit difficult to find this trend line. I drew it off the lows and drug it up to the top. And you can see it came back into play a couple of times before we got a break. It may have been more like this. And actually, you can see that gap right there. It actually ended up ticking back down. But a lot of times that'll tell you your line's in the right place. So it's probably more like that. Either way, we still didn't make a new low here. It doesn't matter how you had it. I ended up dragging it over here. And that would have helped you set up this trade right here. But that's where I had it. So you really get the same result no matter what. So, um, but we're working down. When I came in, we were working back up right here. And notice you got a little trend channel working up here. Fairly easy to spot. And it's working up. We get a close outside, move to a new high, and it reverses. And it's right there where I was expecting a possible trend line. Just go short right there. And that's a quick, easy move. And if you look, sat through this reversal here, you actually could have had a runner here. You wouldn't have got anything more, no matter how long you stayed in it. It never went any lower. You really have found support. And so once it started going sideways here, I would have exited if you were holding on. But then notice this is a new high here. So we pull back and there's a first entry long. We try to go lower, it goes higher again. So there's a second entry long there and it fails. And that's the first break outside the trend line the way I drew it. But there's also a little double top right there, and it's a failed break above. So I like that for a short. I really thought we'd go lower then. Quick, easy scalp, and it comes back, and it gives you a lower high. You had to have room to get out here. If you didn't, I wouldn't take this trade, or I would have used a limit order and try to get a better entry. And you could have got a pretty nice entry with a limit, but I just used a stop. I had enough room to get out here. And that was a quick, easy move. And then it just kept going sideways. So I didn't see any really reason to enter again. There's no more good setups off the low. You might have considered going long here, but we still don't have a new low in place. We're just kind of going sideways. You know, there's a good chance that it ticks up here and turns down. So I don't think I'd go long. I'd wait on the reversal pattern and watch what happens here. It pushes through. Goes right on through the EMA. It pushes right out through the top. You get a first entry short. You pull back. You get a second entry short. It fails. It's right on that where you expect that trend line to be, right across those closes there. Nice bullish bar. Go long right there. And it's off to the races. And my target would be up here, this last high. And if it goes through there, the overnight high. You could basically call this a double top, but anyway, it pushes on up, makes a new high. This was another great move with a runner here, and I would have been looking to exit one tick below those closes right there, and you would have got out within 2 ticks of the top right there. I don't like going short right here. You don't have a break of this one yet, so it pulls back. It makes a first entry, and then it pushes right through the EMA, pulls back, gives you a reversal pattern. That's a failed second entry long. It went up and then turns. It goes right out the other side, goes short right there. And really, I'm not averse to going to adding on right there, because that just traps some more people and it double tests that EMA. So you really could have added on there, and you really could have entered there. Although if I didn't enter here, I take that back. If you're willing to add on, I wouldn't be afraid to enter there. But I was thinking of this more as an add-on because this was where you really wanted to enter originally. But I'm not averse to adding on there. So, and then it pushes on down, pulls back. You get a close outside here, and it tries to go higher, and it ends up closing. This is right off the key entry point. That's your confirmation. You got your first two swings here. Um, your confirmation was really here, but you get your close outside and you try to go out higher. Notice how it can't close outside that trend line. It's double test to the EMA. I like going short there. Boom, off it goes again. There's a failed second entry long there, but we're not quite back to the trend line. It's also a breakout pullback short. It's just not a very good signal bar. It's a doji, so I'd skip that one. But when it comes back here, you might have entered here. This one probably should be green. This is really your signal bar, but this is where you would enter, and I would say you'd want to use a limit order there. You let it break below this red bar and then drop your limit order back where you would have gone short here, and your stop has to go above that signal bar. So now we come down, we get a break, we push down, we pull back, we get a second, we get a lower high here, but it's too close to the low, and you see what happens. It goes a tick or so and bounces. There's probably still room to get out there. I'm not sure if there's enough, but I wouldn't take that. I'd wait, and then of course it tries to go higher again, and now you get a double top. That's really two tries to go higher. We're big bearish bar right there. Just go short right there, and it's off to the races again. And again, a signal, a runner would have been safe to ride this all the way down. I might have exited right here now that we've had a break and a double bottom and all that. But you've already got a big move down. Again, you might have gone short right here. The only reason I didn't have that one marked is because this looks like a little channel here. You can see that. You might have looked at it as this being your trend line, and there's your breaking new high. And if you did look at it like that, you might consider that short. There's enough room to get out. It's just we moved so far already that I'm going to make it green. But it's still not a bad trade. It's a fairly bearish bar. It went higher and it turned, but it couldn't break lower there. And notice how we kind of went sideways. It never could break higher again, so that's a good sign. And once it did go lower, of course, you measure that leg, that first move, and then you look for a measured move. And you can see we actually went a little further than that. It bounces right there, and then it makes a little higher low, and you're still a good ways away from the EMA. So now that you got a break and two legs down and an overshoot here, I like going long right there. It's a fairly bullish bar. It's not a perfect setup, but I think it's worth, if you're trying to be aggressive, you can mark that one green. And that turned out to be a really nice trade right there. I wouldn't have entered any more up through here. You never really get a good chance to enter. It never ticks lower until here. And now you've got a break. So I'm not going to take a first entry and then look at your second entry. Not very good. And it turns out to be a failure. So now I want to go short. So notice that new high, pull back first entry, pushes through the EMA, pulls back second entry. But that's confirms your trend line. Failed second entry long, go short there. And again, another runner. And we move down, comes back, basically right off your trend line again. Fairly bearish bar. The problem here is that it's a first entry, but this thing's fairly bearish. So you might consider going short there. I think it's a little aggressive, but you might take it. And then again, we find support down here, and you got a break and a new low. It's really tempting to go long here. That's not bullish enough. This one is pretty bullish, and you might even consider that one, but that's only the first test of that low. And a lot of times if you're trying to pick lows, you're gonna get burned, and so you're better off to skip that, I think. And there's your first leg down after the break. And then you're looking for a measured leg, and that's a perfect to the tick measured low. But again, I think you're better off to wait on it's right into the EMA, it's right into the trend line. Wait on the reversal pattern, and that comes right here. Notice your new low. move up. Look how quick that easy, look how strong that goes through the EMA. Pulls back, gives you your first entry short, tries to go higher again, turns down, gives you your second entry short. There's your failure. Go long there, and that's really a second entry long as well. That's your reversal pattern. That's where you get in. It's off to the races again. And then here you come back, but it just starts going sideways. You never really get a good setup. This is a little tricky. Notice your new high, and you pull back, you get a first entry, and then it goes down and it goes up. You get a second entry, and that looks really bullish. So, and you would expect that we'd retest that high. But this just turns out to be a long trap. And you might have considered going short there on that trap. It would have been a nice short trap. But by the time it does all that, I think you're better off just to sit tight and see what happens. I don't like entering on any of these. Notice it would have just kept whipsawing you. And it would have been a nice trade both directions, but I just don't see any reason to take it. And then we push up, we got a new high in place now, and we're going sideways again. So I don't like getting long up here, and I really don't want to get short yet either. Again, you might consider that short right there. It's a big bearish bar. It's a pretty good ways away from the EMA. We've had a break and a couple of legs up. So you might consider that going short. I'll give it a green one, but it's just really hard to know what prices are doing just at this point. It looks like we've bounced off a low, and that maybe this is going to be a range day because look how many times we tested that low. But we don't know that for sure yet. And the only channel you got working higher that you're sure of is this one. But notice what I did. I drew me a line off of these. I originally had it a little lower. I drew me a line off of these two. I originally had it just a little bit lower and a little steeper. I changed it when it made this low right here. And I drew that and I copied it and brought it down just to see what would happen as it's going down, just in case. And guess what? It bounces down here. Originally I had this one a little higher, and I had it actually a little bit steeper than that, or a little flatter than that. And once it turned, I drew it right there, and it bounces. There's a failed second entry short right here, so I like that going long. I really thought it was going to take off, but it doesn't. And we just kind of start going sideways again. It's kind of like this. I just stay out of that because you're just going to get whipsawed. And suddenly the bottom drops, and this is like a failed break lower. This is just congestion working across here. But you can see that little failed break lower, but most important, it bounces, it confirms that trend line and gives you a nice bullish reversal type bar. And so I like going long right there. And a lot of times on these little failed break lower like that, you'll catch a low, an important low or high for the day if it's a breakout, failed out the top side. And look at that thing go. And again, you catch a runner here, and you can ride this all the way to the high of the day. So this turned out to be a really nice trade here. But we're moving up. There's actually, let me show you here, you got a new low here. There's a first entry short, pull back second entry short. So that's your reversal pattern, but it's so far away from the EMA, I was scared of it, and you're really going sideways there. And then it pushes higher and comes back down. But again, that's a first entry, so I just don't think you want to risk something there. So then we're coming back down. You get two legs up and another measured leg down and a reversal right there. So I like going long right there. Pulls back. Normally I'd say you want to enter right here long, but I was scared of that one because it was right into the highs here. And so I didn't like that one. Originally I had it right there, and then I moved it down when the closes. Came right there. And look what happens. It pushes through, pulls back, gives you a failed second entry short, a breakout pull back long, and we aren't quite back to this trend line here, and there's plenty of room, and it actually ends up overshooting it. So that turned out to be a pretty good trade. And then you got your reversal here. Notice how we shoot down, we push through the EMA, first entry, pull back second entry, it fails. Gives you a really bearish bar, and then another one that's even more bearish, closes on slow. I like going short there. You figure with that overshoot, we're headed back to here. And notice if you draw that trend line off those first two swings, this confirms it. This is your third swing that confirms it. And so I like that short. And then of course we get another second entry short right here. That's not a perfect signal bar, but it's close enough. Notice the new low, first entry, pull back second entry, again right off that key entry point. We're probably headed to here. Quick, easy move. And you get another second entry right here, but it's just too neutral, and we're kind of stacking up. You get a lower high here, but again, a real neutral bar, and that gets you into 3 o'clock. So a lot of trades today. You probably could argue for even some more in there that I skipped over. But when you get so many trades like this in a day, just wait on the good ones, the sure ones. And, I'd probably skip all these green ones too. There's plenty of trades here, and there's no reason to try to force one. So, yeah, I hope you had a good trading day today. I hope that with all this movement the last couple of days, that, it's been a good learning opportunity. We don't get a lot of volatility like this. We get periods where we do, and then it gets slow again. But this is fairly volatile, pretty good bit of volume, and we needed it because the market had gotten real slow again. So, if you start around 7, you could have been done today by 9 or 10 o'clock easy, and met any, even a sizable goal because there were multiple trades before then. So, yeah, good trading day. It's been a good week. We've had a lot of movement of a couple of really good trends, both down and up. So it's a little scary when it gets to moving like this sometimes. But when it's moving steadily in one direction, try to get some of it, because it's generally, just don't be buying too late. Make sure it's the key entry point. There hasn't been a break yet, and it's a good setup. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it Monday. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.